Why, hello everybody! Once again, it's your boy, Death the Mudkip. We're here to do another Pokemon playthrough video. This time it's a Nuzlocke of Pokemon Fool's Gold, which is a ROM hack of the regular Pokemon Gold, which was available on the Game Boy Color. Although the mascot of this channel is a Mudkip, I am a Johto fan at heart. So much so that if I had to pick a favorite region or generation, it's Gen 2. Fight me, I know. I don't care. Sorry, not sorry. So off the bat, you saw the starters were altered. They all have different typing here. Like this is a Cyndaquil that's an ice type. I named it subscribe, and if you haven't done so, please click that subscribe button and do so now. Anyway, the whole fun to Fool's Gold is it's reimagined Johto. All these Pokemon have new typings. As you can see, Centron's a flying type. Pidgey's a fighting type. Totodile was flying type, and Chikorita was a fighting type. And of course, I'll be treating this as a Nuzlocke because I just got done playing through a different Nuzlocke, and I was enjoying the feel of a Nuzlocke, so I was like, let's just keep saying the word Nuzlocke and let's do another Nuzlocke. After we go see Mr. Pokemon, we get a call from Professor Elm, and he tells us, oh no, we've been robbed. We go heal up, and seeing as the Pokemon type advantage is completely backwards here with your starter, I decided to train up just a little bit because I was scared that maybe, just maybe, that Chikorita would want me. Although it was no issue, and holy shit, did you see that Mareep? Guarantee it was a ghost type. We head back to Professor Elm's lab. At that point, we're going to go name our rival. I always name my rival one of two things. And our last Nuzlocke, his name was Brandon, so this time his name is Josh. I always name it after one of my two friends here. From there, they show us a Pokemon tutorial. Like I need help catching Pokemon. Surprisingly, I didn't have an encounter until I walked into that one route that leads up towards Blackthorn City. And I came across a Diglett that's shaped like a stalactite or stalagmite. I can't remember which one. Anyway, I named him Lacone. And from there, we actually have our second encounter. It should have been our first encounter, but we didn't see anything until later on. And would you look at that? It's a Hoot that's holding a shield, and it's gray. I'm going to say this is Steel type. I was right, it is Steel type. I'm going to name it Ironheart. Kind of sucks, just had a Noctowl my last playthrough as my starter Pokemon, but that's okay. I love Johto, and a Steel type Noctowl would be interesting, so I'm in. We go pick up some more Pokeballs, and then, oh my god, look, there's the Mareep! I was hoping. I didn't think I'd get that lucky, but I was hoping. So far, guys, I'm really enjoying this. I'm a huge fan of this region, and the fact that I'm getting a new take on it, it triggers so much nostalgia for me. I just can't even. Okay, so at this point, we're going to fight our way up that route that leads to Violet City, or Violet Town, or New Violet Town. The town where the first gym leader and the Bellsprout's at. It's funny, for being such a fan of this game, you think I would actually know the city's names. Regardless, it's early in the game, so we're trying to get as many encounters as we possibly can. I enter that cave you need Flash to maneuver through. I was hoping for a Dunsparce. Instead, I came across a Zubat. It looks like an eyeball. I'm going to name it Jeepers. I'm not really mad about that. Because it's Crystal version and you can go to the ruins of Alph next, I go through Violet City, or Violet Town, and I do the Kabuto puzzle, which I'm glad to see that this has an alternate form as well. They really put a lot of attention into detail with this. Anyway, doing the Kabuto puzzle unlocks the unknown, so after this we're going to run into an unknown, and that's going to be our encounter in the Alph ruins. Finally we run into one, and wow, that's quite the Pokemon there. We're going to definitely catch it. It's square, it reminds me of the newer Xbox that came out recently, so I'm going to name it Xbox. I know, I'm so original. From here we take on Sprout's Tower, and once we get inside, we're met with a surprise that Bellsprout was replaced by a cannon, which makes it Steel type. Which is an interesting concept, but I'm kind of glad I didn't come across one. I don't really see the point. How would you even evolve that? I mean, there's no metal stone. Maybe they just made it, you use a leaf stone and it still evolves, or maybe it's like a metal coat. I mean, that would make the most sense, or maybe just pure leveling. I don't know, we never caught one, so it doesn't really matter. I will say this early in the game, Bellsprout being a Steel type makes it a lot more dangerous, which did make it a little more challenging, which I did enjoy, because Sprout Tower is like the very first weak dungeon you go through, so it was nice that it had a little bit of a balance to it. We actually get lucky here and we have an encounter in Sprout Tower. It's not always guaranteed. Usually it's like a Rattata or a Ghastly, depending on when you're playing through the original game. This time we come across one of the Venonat, and it looks more like a bug than it already was, kind of like a spider, which not really mad about it, but I don't foresee it joining my team anytime soon. It's bright green, it's kind of circular shaped. I'm going to name it Lime. I know, I'm not really original. I'm curious, do you guys play any kind of ROM hacks? If you do, what are you playing right now? Comment down below, let me know. And if not, it's okay, but leave me a comment anyway, it's good for the algorithm. We fight our way to the top of the tower, and then it's time to take on the leader, the final monk, after we bump into our rival. He talks down to us, uses an escape rope, and then vanishes from the screen. From there we take on the final monk, and he's got a Hoot and a Bellsprout, so it's almost like a premature Steel type gem. That's how it kind of feels. I wonder if the creator of this game did that intentionally or if it just happened to be a lucky coincidence. Or I guess as Bob Ross would say, happy little accident. Which, by the way, did you guys know that apparently he was like a serial killer and when his paintings kind of gave away the locations of the corpses? But that's just a theory. A really fucked up theory. The battle rages on and it's more or less a tit-for-tat slapfest. It's not even that it's hard, it's just really annoying because I don't have anything that's super effective against these hoot, so it's more or less just how much can I punch my way through these things with pure muscle. And now we're on to the first gym, and unfortunately, I make a mistake. I'll give you a chance now. Why don't you comment down below and guess, who do you think I got killed in this gym match? The answer may surprise you. Alas, it was meant to be that eventually somebody would die. I thought I'd get a little farther, but I was wrong. So, if you haven't made your guess, now's your last chance to do so before we move on. It was Lacone. You're going to see here coming up, essentially, I don't pay attention to the fact that Pidgey is fighting type. I send him out thinking, oh, I've got a rock throw, that's going to trump the flying type. And, yeah, no, it didn't. That boy got one shot. KO! Luckily, I was faster than the Pidgeot, and I was able to use Cyndaquil or Subscribe to beat it, because a double kick would have totally killed Cyndaquil as well, and that would have sucked. So we released Lacone. I was given the Togepi egg. I decided to hatch it because I was super curious to see what it's going to be. I name it Scramble because, you know, it's an egg, haha pun, and it's like a little dinosaur. Unfortunately, Scramble didn't survive very long as I tried to train it up and died. I feel like this happened before in an alternate universe. Oh well. We have our next encounter. We capture a Poliwhirl and we name it Gloop because it's like a mud puddle thing, and then from there it's on to Union Cave where we come across an Onix for our first encounter. Instead of it being a rock snake, it's just a giant earthworm, which is very phallic and disgusting looking. Get in the damn ball! Freaking penis snake, I swear to God, you're not even worth it. I name it Alaska like that Alaskan bullworm from that very infamous SpongeBob episode, and then I box that piece of shit. My next encounter is a Mankey, and it looks like a dandelion, so I was going to name it Dandily, and I ended up just naming it D, because I got fat thumbs. Anyway, from there we go talk to Kurt the Ball Master. He goes and falls down the well. We're in Slowpoke Well now, and we came across a Slowpoke, which is now an electric typing. We name it Zippy, we finish off the well, and then it's on to the gym. Surprisingly, Bugsy's gym is actually more challenging than it is in the original game because almost all these bugs have different typings or multi-typings. The most important things to come out of Bugsy's gym challenge were this. 1. Pinecone looks weird and really veiny. It's definitely more Pinecone-like. 2. Ladybug is now an electric bug type. It's kind of neat. 3. Scizor and Scyther look very, very different. Scyther's like a fire ant. Scizor's like some kind of fighting type now. Oh, and then Sneasel's also a bug type now. It's a fucking some kind of weevil, I think. Nobody dies, and Spooky evolves into like this demonic looking sheep, so can't be mad about that. I can say I do like how they spaced out the typing of bugs between each trainer. It wasn't just like everyone was rocking Weedles and Kakunas like they were in the first game. Okay, Slowpoke Well's done. The second badge collected. It's time to head towards Ixel Forest, and that's where our rival decides to challenge us, so let's get into that. Josh sends out a Bellsprout, and we beat it just by a nut hair with Xbox. Then we switch out Xbox into Ironheart. We take down a Zubat, then he brings out the Bayleaf. You can already see the fighting type on Bayleaf start to shape up. We use Jeepers to beat it, and then it's into Ixel Forest. Our encounter's a Spinarak. Spinarak looks like it's probably Ghost type. Kinda neat, we catch it, and we're gonna name it Fangs. Now it's time for that bullshit minigame in the forest where we have to chase down the Farfetch and get cut. Once we finish cut, I jump right to the end of the forest. Then I encounter a Pidgey on my next route, which Pidgey's a fighting type. I'm kinda intrigued to see what it looks like Final Evo, so I catch it. I name it Knuckles, and I head towards the bug park. Our next encounter is right before the bug park. Checking the map card of the Pokegear tells me this is a new route, so it's time to go and catch another Pokemon. I come across a Snubbull. It looks like it's a ground type fight, I guess. It's a little bulldog, which I like the redesign, I really do. I name it Snubs, and it's on to my next encounter in the park. Luckily, it's the bug catching contest day, and look at that, my first rip's a Scyther. I have a mini heart attack because I realized Scyther's a fire type, and I took an ice type in there. But we got Subscribe out of there, which if you haven't done so already, please, please, please do so. I promise to make more content. I name my Scyther Scorch, and then I go and I decide to buy a Rattata from this guy who sells rare Pokemon. I name it Junk, and look at that. Because it was a Rattata, apparently it's a mouse, like a computer mouse. Well, if I'm breaking the rules by buying this Rattata, let me know in the comments down below. I don't feel like I am, but maybe I am. Anyway, it's on to the gym. Meowth got a really cool redesign here. I love that. If I come across one, I wouldn't be too mad about that in the wild. Anyway, what I like about this ROM hack is they kept all the Pokemon for this gym, but because their types changed, it's no longer a normal gym. They're just a bunch of random amalgamation of Pokemon. And oh my god, look at Pikachu. It's like a hairless hamster. They made him fugly, which sucks because I love Raichu. And oh my god, look at Porygon. Is that a rubber duck? That's a rubber duck. I want that f***ing duck. Also, holy shit, I love that they added extra Pokemon to her. I think this coughing is a normal type now because it's a balloon. Oh, what the hell? Look at Manta. It's a kite. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, and also Ironheart evolved. Whitney did never milk tank. That was strange. Anyway, we beat her. We go get the squirt bottle. Then it's on to the next route. I forgot to fight this kid. He throws out a different Xbox, which is cooler than mine. And he follows it up with a tentacle, which, I don't know how I feel about that one. It's interesting. I like the color scheme, but, And then an Apom. Oh, look at it. It's so cute. It's like a gesture. And then Tangela is now a pile of snakes. What kind of typing is that? I don't know why Nintendo just doesn't do something like this. Like, take the game and completely reimagine it, but make it like a parallel world, so we'll never have those Pokemon. Holy shit, Sudowoodo's a ghost tree. Side note, I forgot to get the squirt bottle. I had to go look at the tree, then go back to the squirt bottle, then go back to the tree. But holy shit, that was awesome. Look at Sudowoodo. Pretty pissed we killed it because I would have been loved to have that on my team, but oh well. Moving on to the Eevee Dancer House, where all the Kimono girls are, and it's time to fight all the Eeveelutions, which, wow, so far Dragon, then we've got Insect. This is sick. Next we see a ground type, after that we see a steel type. Like, really enjoying these redesigns. Kind of wish they would have made more Eeveelutions. Now I'm looking back at it, maybe there were 2 steel types. I'm not sure. One of these were steel type, I just don't remember which one was what. I didn't raise any of the Eeveelutions, sorry if that's a spoiler, so I didn't actually find out. From here it's on to Burn Tower. Look at that Cubone sprite, like what even, dude? It's gotta be a ghost type. We run into Josh here and it's time for a battle, and I don't understand how this keeps happening, but every time I come to Burn Tower, I lose like 1 or 2 Pokemon every time I do a Nuzlocke and Johto. As you can see, we just lost Ironheart and Jeepers. I'm salty, but in the same breath, I guess I get to use some of these new Johto reimagined Pokemon, so I guess I'm not mad. It's bittersweet. I rather would have lost them to Morty, but, you know, shit happens, I guess. Anyway, we wake up the legendary dogs, then we're off to the Poké Center to release Ironheart and Jeepers. Well, I've been wanting to try out Scorch. I like the new form of Scyther, so we put that on our team, and we lost a bird, so we replaced our bird with a bird. So Knuckles it is. And, by the way, there was Entei. If you saw it for like a split second, it was like this weird steel bird dog thing. We didn't catch it because we only had Pokeballs, but anyway, it's on to the 4th gym. So in Morty's gym, it's the same deal. You gotta walk across this invisible path, but it's pretty much just like a zigzag, up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right. And as we fight the Ghost Tamers, we see Goldine's a ghost in this game, Cubone's a ghost in this game, Misdrevious is a different type of ghost in this game, and holy shit, look at Milk Tank. Guess that explains why she wasn't on Whitney's team. Holy shit, that was dope. If that ends up being my route encounter, I wouldn't even be mad. Also, I've noticed nobody has a Ghastly, Haunter, or Gengar in this gym, so I'm curious what their types are. I don't remember because it's been so long since I played this. And look at Natu, it has a totem-looking art style. I'm guessing it's ghost type as well, or it wouldn't be in the gym here. After this, we move on to Morty, and he actually starts out with an Ariados, which we finally get to see what that looks like, and not bad. Followed up with a Girafarig. I liked it a lot better than Girafarig's original design. Then he has a Milk Tank, which does not surprise me whatsoever. And he follows up with a Marowak, which I don't really like Cubone and Marowak's design in this game, but they tried. We beat Morty, we get our 4th badge, and then we head towards the next route for our next encounter, and it's a Wooper, which would have been good if it was a water type, but being that it has a fluffy cloud head, it's a flying type. Gloop evolves into a Poliwhirl, and I've got bad news. Nothing can learn Surf, so I need to catch a Pokemon that can Surf. I use the old rod, and I come across the Porygon I wanted, which, hey, I don't know if you guys count this as cheating, because technically it was an encounter. The town is not a route, but it was a new encounter. I name him Quackers, and he replaces my Poliwhirl. And then wouldn't you know it, my next encounter is a Drowsy, which is definitely a water type. Me. I caught this in that cave if you head to the right, like you were heading towards the Lake of Rage, so that was my encounter. Should have just gone there first, then I wouldn't have had to catch Quackers, but I'm glad I caught Quackers, so sorry not sorry. Oh, also there's a new route. If you head over to where the Milk Tank house is, there's a new route, and on this new route we caught an Execute who is just apples. So I name it Macintosh, and we start following this new route, and it looks like there's some water or lava. It's tough to tell here, and wow, look at Hitmontop, it's grass type. Damn, that would have been a cool encounter. This new route's real jungle-like. It has a lot of new Pokemon, well, not new per se, but a lot of different Pokemon we haven't seen yet, including a Swinub, that Pineco. Did you guys notice that Sandslash looked a lot like a Lucario? Also, Ekans is like a sea snake now, which that makes sense, and Chinchou's like almost looks like a skunkfish kinda. I know I can't catch it, but I decided to try my rod out on the water, just want to see what it is, and I pull up a shelter. These shelter are designed to be like razor clam, which is a different type of clam, but if you don't know that, now you do. There's a little bit of fun animal biology for you. Anyway, we make it to the next town, we decide to stock up on some items, after we sell some items. We talk to everybody in town, nothing really important or exciting happens, we just get exposition that this used to be an area that Lapras lived in, and they're like a legendary dragon Pokemon. But they're not legendary Pokemon, they're just like really rare, hard to find, so here's hoping I can find one when I head into this maze. Unfortunately, I'm not that lucky. I come across an Nidoran, female version, and that's my first encounter. I'm going to capture it. It's like a statue. I've been on a lot of the Steven Universe talk lately. I'm going to call this Rose Quartz, so hate me, don't hate me. Anyway, you'll notice a lot of the Pokemon in this like maze all have a similar theme. Like, they're all like old stone, dungeon-esque. They all just kind of look like monsters from some D&D stuff here, which, by the way, check out Abra. It's like a glyph for a magician. It was really interesting, honestly. Working our way through the maze, we come across a Kangaskhan, and it looked kind of like a broken statue, which I thought was neat. Reminds me of all the statues we see in game, and we finally find a Lapras. Can't catch it, but we found one. A little more grinding, and we get towards the end of the maze. The only reason I'm showing you this footage is because we come across a Gligar. And Gligar looks like a gargoyle statue. I think that was a fun little reference, and I'm actually happy with how it turned out. Wish I would have found that instead of what I found, but oh well. Once we get out of the maze, the next part of the map is another part of the new route. This one's a desert, which I didn't know I needed a desert in Johto until now, but I'm super glad there's one. So unfortunately, we don't even have an encounter yet before we're attacked by a hiker, so we take him on. He's got an Onix, he had a Staryu, that was kind of neat, and a Kangaskhan. When we finally get out of the battle, we come across a Natu, which, I name it Tiki. Wasn't what I was hoping for, but it's okay. Whoa, look at Magmar. That thing's sick, and Dratini looks like a needle? I'm guessing Magmar's probably poison type, and Dratini's probably steel type, and holy shit, did you see Magikarp? It was like a sandworm. So this desert primarily has ghost and ground type. That's kind of interesting. Next up, a bird keeper wants a piece of us, and he has a Murkrow, which I do not like its design. A Pidgeotto, which we have one of those, and wow, even the Pharaoh was cool. It looks like it was dragon type? So once we make our way through the haunted desert, we come across a ghost town, which, it's an interesting concept nonetheless. Inside the ghost town, the only thing I can find is a Poke Center, so we enter and decide to heal, because we don't want to lose anybody to the Nuzlocke. What I find interesting is inside the Poke Center, there's a pathway to the right that you can follow, and it takes you to this back staircase, which takes you down into the basement of the Poke Center, where I come across a Magby, so I'm going to catch it, even though it's not as cool looking as Magmar. It has potential. I'm going to name it Goop. Then there's Nurse Joyce here who want to battle, and they got Chansey, and Chansey just looks like a demon. It's got to be Dark type. They also have Dratini, which, and wow, Aerodactyl, which is like pretty much just missing no glitch, so it looks like they kind of have like either dark or corrupt hospital-esque Pokemon, which is interesting. The overall theme of these Pokemon in these areas is done really well. I also like how all these Nurse Joys are just saying like strange, corrupt sentences. Holy shit, look at Ampharos. It was spoiled, but god, that's awesome. There's also a bunch of Remoraid around here, and they're supposed to be like germs. As we work our way through these Nurse Joy clones or corrupt clones, we see a lot of interesting Pokemon. They're rocking like Dark and Ghost type. There's a Slowking in keeping with our electric type for the Slowpoke. Remoraid evolves into a different type of germ, which I thought was really neat. We also get to see a Pupitar, which, holy shit, this thing is amazing. Last Pokemon we see here is like a really messed up Doduo, and I like how it's got this third head, but it's kind of like crippled and milted. Like, just really neat. Really, really neat stuff here. Then we get to the back of the Poke Center, and there's this like machine that like we feel like we should go in, but Nurse Joy comes down and she's like, no, don't do it. You'll become a Nurse Joy if you step inside it. And then we get a reward for not following our intrusive thoughts, and it's one of the Kanto starters, but they're different than they used to be. Alright, so I want to see what each of these are like, so I'm going to save my game, I'm going to take one of each and let you guys see them with me, and then we'll go from there. First I picked Squirtle. If I had kept it, I would have named it Lazarus. It is a water dragon type. Next I picked Charmander. Charmander is a fire dark type. And then I picked Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur is a grass fire type. Water dragon's a decent mix, will be really sick. Fire Dark's a really cool mix too, but however, I'm going to go with Bulbasaur just because out of the three, he's kind of my favorite. He used to not be, but he grew on me over time. Oh, and then I found a shiny Remoraid. I caught it because I'm allowed to catch shinies, but I don't plan on using this. But we're going to catch it, we're going to name it something stupid, and then we're going to throw it in the box. While escaping the corrupt Poke Center, Ampharos evolved. Spooky's in his final form. New route, new encounter, who dis? It's a Swinub. Not what I wanted, but I guess I'll take it. Name him Geo. I put him in the box, and it's on to some trainer battles. Oh my god, Sudowoodo was up here. I wanted it. I'm so mad about that. We also get a look at Scizor, and I don't love that design. We also get a look at Togepi's second form Togetic. That was pretty dope. Oh my god, Hitmonchan's where it's at. And Nidorina's terrible. Oh my god, is it terrible. Also, Tauros be interesting. Kind of just looks like a Buffalo-ant. Then there's Arcanine, and I don't know if that's Fire, Ice, or Psychic. So much was happening, I forgot to mention Scorch died, which kind of sucks, but after seeing Scizor, Also, when you go back to the Poké Center, the box is all the way in the back, so I had to go through the maze again, and while doing it, Quacker's evolved. Now he's just a duck. We go and grab Junk. I actually liked his design, and he's not going to be too hard to evolve, so we just do some training, and oh my god, Junk turned into actual Junk! Then we see Furret, and it's a kite, which I kind of hate. Oh, and then, by the way, Bulbasaur evolved into Ivysaur and then Venusaur, so there's your final form of the new Venusaur. We clear the lighthouse, we get the challenge to go to Sunnywood and get the secret potion. We head to Sunnywood, then we put a Pokemon in the box so we can get this free Shuckle, and oh wow, I don't love that. After that we meet Eugene, he's all like, oh, Suicune's mine! So we fight him with his weird mutated Pokemon. Wow, that's Magneton? I don't like that either. And then it's on to fight Chuck after this. We get to see Hitmonlee, and oh, it's water type, it's terrible. They took his feet. But Hitmonchan, he's that Fuego. God, I wish we got a Hitmonchan. We learned some valuable things in this gym, starting out that Shellder is a fighting type. Apparently so is Scizor, which I guess makes sense from his ridiculous getup. We also find out that Smeargle's a fighting type. Smeargle looks kind of badass here. And I guess Magmar is too, and if Magmar is not, then I don't really know. Oh, Cloyster, wow, you look like a sword. Then we get to see Hitmontop one more time, and you know, after looking at it, I definitely like Hitmonchan more, especially because he just murdered my Xbox. Never thought I'd see the day where I was sad that I lost an unknown, but guess there's a first time for everything. We release Xbox, and then it's time to add someone to our team, and thought about Goop, but I ended up taking Tiki. Tiki evolved pretty quick, and it's just, yeah, it's a Tiki totem. It's a totem pole. Now we're heading up to Lake Rage. We get to see the Quagsire's final form, and oh, it's terrible, which, by the way, I caught it because of my first encounter, unfortunately, on the route to Lake Rage, which, by the way, I think one of the rule of thumbs with Nuzlocke is you can catch the Pokemon of the same species as long as they are different forms. So I can catch a beginning form and a final Evo. I just can't catch two of the same. We do the Lake of Rage encounter, and Gyarados doesn't really look that different. I guess it's just a sandworm now. I mean, instead of having the cool dragon head, it's just got this weird growth hole with teeth. Now it's onto the Rocket Hideout, and holy shit, Slugma kind of badass. It's an encounter in here. Fight me. You're wrong. So I get to catch it. And I'm going to name the Slugma Nuka because it's radioactive green. I also forgot to mention I named the Gyarados Nessie, not that it matters. We work our way through to this executive CEO asshole. We pound him into the ground, and it's time to go set the Voltorb free. But not before we fight the second executive of the base, and in this second exec has a Hypno, which, they're not bad. Followed by a Gloom, which I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to be, like a chilly, icy plant thing. And another Murkrow, which I'm not a huge fan of. The Voltorb are actually Slowbro, which makes sense, they're power Pokemon, but I already caught the Slugma earlier, so I can't catch any of them. If you'll notice, I skipped Jasmine. I actually kind of forgot about her. I just decided to rush straight to this. Oh my god, did you see Scammery? Terrible. Pikachu and Raichu? Terrible. Now, Stanler? Not bad. Ursa's cute, but I mean, it's pretty much just Cubchoo minus the big booger. After 3 minutes of trying to figure out this stupid puzzle, I finally make my way to Price, and it's time to fight Price. Wow, Ursa Ring, that's just Beware. Next is Stanler. I like it. It's a reindeer. I see what they did there. Ice type. That's cool. Then he sends out a Delibird, which looks like Krampus, followed by a Jinx. Oh my god, was that Jinx? They made it look like an autistic monkey. Anyway, all points aside, back to the harbor town so I can fight Jasmine and get my 7th badge? Question mark? Yeah, 7th badge. I don't hate Dunsparce's new design. Victory Bell's new design's not bad. Turns out that Slowking was a steel type. I didn't really like Quillfish's design either. After that, Knuckles evolves into a Pidgeot, which look at he is ripped. Now it's on to do that whole side scheme radio tower bullshit. We have to do this. We want to get to the last gym and get the 8th badge. This is like my least favorite part of the story, but anyway, we grind our way through the tower and then the basement, and would you look at that? Slugma evolves into a really neat mutated Macargo. Next up, we finally get to the basement, and now Josh wants to fight. Look at Golbat. I'm kind of glad Jeepers died now. And wow, Meganium. I usually enjoy you, but here? Ugh. Also, we see Sneasel again. It's like a bug type. His Magnemite hasn't evolved yet. That's kind of strange. Weeping Bell, I haven't forgot what you did to me. We sweep his team, then I get anxious. I want to see what Quilava's final form looks like, and look at that. Subscribe becomes a Typhlosion, and I actually don't hate that. We clear the basement, we rescue the director, we get the new keycard, and we lose Tiki in the process, so it's time to release Tiki and add someone to the team. While training up Nuka, I come across a shiny Furret, so as far as I'm concerned, that's fair game, and I'm catching it. I don't know if the shiny odds are any different in this Fool's Gold ROM hack, but if they aren't, That's 2 full odd shinies I've caught so far. It's a cloud. I'm going to name it Soarin' because it's soaring through the air. I know it's stupid, but whatever. Anyway, after enough training, we get Slugma to evolve into a Cargo, and then it's on to Ice Path where we come across the demonic Delibird, which, hey, not mad. Gonna name him Shadow because he looks evil, and then to the box he goes. Then I go to the 8th gym and realize, oh my god, I didn't finish the last part of the radio tower. I was so glad to be done with it after dumping Tiki. I dipped. Wow, look at Houndour. He's grass type. They did not do him justice, I tell you that. Finally, I'm done with the most annoying subplot in the game, and it's on to the 8th gym. We get to the Dragon Gym, and the first battle, we get to see Grimer. I hate Grimer. I like regular Grimer. I hate Fool's Gold Grimer, let me just state that. Then Gyarados is Dragon type, which, okay, cool, but it's an ugly worm. Then we have that awkward moment where I never taught another Pokemon Strength. I don't want my Pokemon die to new Strength, because, you know, I had to use it to get the 5th badge. So anyway, now somebody knows Strength again, that's all that matters. Alright, so we start doing the Strength puzzle, and the next thing you know, we get to see Seadra, and it's an electric dragon type. You can see little lightning bolts coming off of it, which, that's kind of neat. You can only assume that if Seadra's an electric dragon type, Horsey is as well, which means Kingdra is as well. A lot of up and down bullshit here to move these rocks around so we can fight Claire, and we finally come across our last cool trainer, and wow, look at that, there's Muck. I hate Muck just as much as I hate Grimer in this game. Terrible design. Did I say last cool trainer? I meant second last cool trainer, because I gotta do one more rock before I can fight Claire. She sends out a Lapras, which, hey, rub it in that I didn't get one. I guess that's cool. And then apparently Nidoqueen's dragon type, which, she looks terrible. So, I will not be using her. I just realized something. After everything we've seen in this gym, we haven't seen any Dratinis, which means that they're not dragon type, which I think goes back to what I was saying, they are steel type. And oh my god, they ruined Kingdra. They made it so bad. Seadra was okay, but Kingdra is just, ugh. Anyway, we bowl our way through Claire because fighting beats ground type and ice beats dragon type, so trying to find out, subscribe on that shit. We beat Claire, she decides to be a total biatch and say, oh, you can't have the badge till you go and you get yourself a Dragon's Fang. So into the Dragon Den we go, and holy shit, look at that, a Dratini. Yes, I'd like that, good sir. It's gonna be a dick, though. It keeps just spitting shit at me, but I'm gonna catch it. Just you wait. After many Pokeballs, we find out, yes, it is the Needle Pokemon. That and it's Poison type, which, that's pretty cool. So we work our way to the back of the Dragon's Den. Gotta take on a few more future Dragon trainers, and oh, by the way, I gotta teach somebody Whirlpool, so... forgive me, Quackers. Forgive me. We collect our stupid Dragon's Fang. After that, the old man says, hey! Give him the badge. Claire begrudgingly crosses her arm and tilts her face about me. She's like, heh. And I look back at her and go, heh. And that's pretty much, that's the end of that story. So now I've got all 8 badges, it's time to go home. Because next thing on the block is getting a Master Ball from Professor Elm. He decides to call us after we have our Dragon Fang, and he's like, hey, come home, I got something for you. It's the Master Ball. After that, we're told to serve to the right side of our house, and that takes us to Kanto, which means it's time for the Elite Four. Would you believe me if I told you my first encounter on that route right outside of my house was a shiny Furret? Yes, another one, a full odds Furret, shiny, same Pokemon, different area. Well, what do you guys think? I think that's crazy. I'm sure there are numbers out there, but these odds have to be tweaked. I mean, this is my 3rd shiny I've naturally encountered. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch it because of the dupe clause. I don't catch duplicate of anything, including shiny, so... Oh, I make it through Victory Road, I gotta fight Josh one more time, and it's on the Elite Four. Willow was originally a Psychic-type Pokemon user. Now, I don't know what exactly his team specifically is because I don't know half these Pokemon's typings. Regardless, it doesn't matter because we beat him. We heal up our team, and now we're on to the next trainer, which is Koga. Koga originally was a Poison-type user, and now he's got Bug and Grass and Poison. I really don't know, I just don't know the theme at this point. Doesn't really matter either because just like with Will, we spam enough moves that protect us, we push our way through, we heal up, and then we're on to the next one, which is Bruno. I did figure out Bruno's typing. Bruno's typing is essentially ground type. God, Jumpluff looks terrible. Really glad I didn't have to use that. Politoed was interesting as well. Oh, Mr. Mime, that's so clever. Looks like that's what a Poliwrath ends up being. Still mud. Steelix is just a giant worm, that's freaky. And last but not least, he's going to be running a Togetic, which we could have had one of those if they hadn't died like in the first 5 minutes of having one. Alright, so we're healing up, and then it's on to fight Karen, who was originally a Dark-type user and is still a Dark-type user. Holy shit, Electabuzz was emo as fuck. And Blissey, wow, Blissey's just the devil. And still a tank. Then we have a Lantern, that was pretty cool. It's scary, but cool. I swear to God, Sandslash just looks like Lucario. You can't change my mind. Our final Pokemon's Alakazam, and that hieroglyph style paid off because he's a bad-looking bitch. Once again, we heal up, and now it's on to Lance. Now, so far, we've had a pretty good run with the Elite Four, but with Lance Lance is the champion for a reason, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Not everybody makes it out of this. If you want to take a guess and see who it is, now's your chance before it's too late. Regardless, let's get into it. He started out with Fortress, which was just a giant moth, then Wobbuffet, which instead of being a punching bag was a candle, followed up by Ampharos, and then an Octillery. We're doing okay so far. He breaks out the Scammery, and then he brings out Tyranitar. Holy fuck, look at that thing, it's a monster. Nuka goes down first, followed by Knuckles. Finally, Subscribe goes out, and Tyranitar kicks the shit out of him too. Not my starter! I lost half my team in that fight! And then we get the automatic heal, we enter the Hall of Fame. The end, question mark? Just kidding, it's not, we're heading to Kanto. But first we have to replace 3 fallen team members, so we're gonna do that real quick. We're given the GS ball, we're told to go check out the dock and head to Kanto. We decide to add Gyarados, Furret, and Magmar to our team to try to kind of balance out some of those type disadvantages. Now, unfortunately, there's a level gap, but I'm hoping we can use the Kanto gems to kind of bridge said level gap as we work our way to Red. And honestly, I don't really waste a lot of time in Kanto. I don't think I even film a bunch of it. Pretty much just each gym challenge. I walk in, I take on Lieutenant Surge and all his cronies. I get to see a couple of the Pokemon forms I was curious about, and then we just kind of move our way through the gym. Which, hey, if you were curious, there's what Dewgong looks like. Wigglytuff as well. I don't know if we got to see that earlier in the game. We also get to see what Nidoking looks like, because as you can see, Nidoran looks like a robot. I guess I spoiled it. Lieutenant Sturge has a Nidoking, but there it is, and now it's gone. I do just want to take a minute to apologize. I feel like this video took way too long, almost a year to get out. It's just been on my phone forever. Depression really got the best of me. Life kind of shook the shit out of me, and I didn't have the motivation to keep going. But eventually, I just sat down one day and said, you know what? I got to keep trucking, and that's what I did. Also, shout out to this Nuzlocke. It's the first Nuzlocke where I got to get past the Elite Four. Every other time I do a Nuzlocke in Gold, I always die at the Elite Four. Speaking of the Nuzlocke, I kind of forgot I was doing it, so I only captured a few Pokemon while I was in Kanto. But at this rate, I feel like I don't really need any more, which I guess is cocky, but whatever. I'm super hyped on that Psyduck, though. That Psyduck is fucking A1. Also, I went into Cerulean Cave, saw Mewtwo. He looked all like Edgelord-ish. Just threw a Master Ball at him because I was like, fuck it, named him Mew3, and that's that. Then Green appears and gives us a bunch of exposition on Mewtwo, which, if you guys don't know who Green is, she was a cut trainer from a trainer trio in Red, Blue, and Green, or Red, Blue, and Yellow, depending on where you're from. But essentially, she was Green. She was a female character, the first female character, actually, before Crystal, and she was supposed to take a Squirtle. But, again, it's cut content unless you read the manga, which not everyone did. Hell, for shit's sake, we didn't even get a green version in America, unless you count hacks. Anyway, it's on to finding the legendary birds, and they're actually legendary beasts, or ultra beasts per se. Through that entire exposition, I plowed my way through the Saffron and the Cerulean Gym. I caught Zapdos, as you saw here. I'm going to name it Glowbee. Now I'm going to go plow my way through the Celadon Gym. I think it was Celadon. The Grass Gym. You know what's crazy? Like, in the time this came out, I played all the way through Violet version. I played like 3/4 of Scarlet version. I always do this thing when I get both games where I just kind of drop off. I may have already played through Pearl, and I haven't played Diamond yet. I did pick up Diamond recently. I'm sorry, Brilliant Diamond. I wanted to film that as one of my next playthroughs since I only do Lake stuff on the phone. But, like I said, life's just had me down, so it's been kind of a process. I did play and record a Game Boy Advance version of Sword and Shield. I really enjoyed Sword and Shield, so I thought that'd be a lot of fun. Got all the way to the 8th gym badge, and then the game wasn't complete, and I didn't know that, so I couldn't continue any farther. That was a bummer. I still have the recording. I don't know if I'm going to speak over it. I mean, I just spoiled how it ended, but trust me, that was also disappointing because I was supposed to do the next video after this. So after that and everything else, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, going on hiatus. Also, we finally got to see Eevee. I kind of forgot I could get an Eevee from Bill through this game. Not that it really matters now because we're so far into it, but Eevee's a ghost type. That's pretty neat. I still feel like your prize inside the Kimono Girl house back in Johto in Ekritique City should have been an Eevee instead of Surf. I feel like you could have gone and got Surf from Bill, and Eevee should have been your prize since they all had Eeveelutions, but that's a personal opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. Turns out I lied to you. I didn't fight Misty, so now it's time to go fight Misty. What I did was I cleared the Rocket Grunt from her gym and got the power back on. Because in the Johto game, the power plant started actually being used again, and Zapdos couldn't hang out there anymore. Anyway, it's time to fight Misty. Once we finish off the Slash trainer in the gym, Misty starts out with a Machamp, and holy shit, look at that thing. He's a diving beast. She follows up with Starmie, which I didn't really like. I mean, Starmie's design was kind of shit. It's a Sandal, I get it, but meh. And then Licking Tongue, he's just vomiting water. That's clever. And oh, look at that, Arbok's just a bigger snake, and huh. Kabutops. I don't hate that design. Next, we wake up the Snorlax, and holy shit, he's slender and a fighting type. Then it's on to Brock's gym, where we take on Brock, who's got, oh wow, Butterfree was crystals. I feel like I may have already seen that. It's been a while. I don't necessarily hate his team. I mean, these redesigns are pretty cool. Especially the Dugtrio. Like, it's kind of a shame that Lacone never got that far, because it's kind of a badass design. And finally, it's time for our final battle with Josh. We're going to wipe the floor with his sorry ass in Mount Moon. After Mount Moon, then we can go... I don't know why I decided to save this as the last battle. I think I was trying to be dramatic, but I could have gone through Mount Moon to get to Brock. I instead saved it after Brock. Oh, that's why. So I took the half-ass route through Kanto after seeing Professor Oak down to Cinnabar, because it's a quicker path than go all the way through the Seafoam Islands. You know, I've done the puzzle enough, you think I'd be confident, but if I can avoid it, I do. Although, I'm probably going to go through there because Articuno's there, and I could use as many legendaries as I can get my hands on right before we fight Red. The fight with Blaine went well. After that, it was on to take on Articuno, and surprisingly, I didn't have to go through the Seafoam Islands. It was just a chamber with a portal, which gives me Articuno as an Ultra Beast. So, caught it, named it Pixel, and then it's on to Moltres. Which was stupid easy. Like, out of all the legendary Ultra Beasts here, Moltres was stupid easy. So, now we take on Blue and the Viridian Gym. And after that, it's on to take on Red. So, Blue uses his team from the original Kanto run. Now, granted, they're obviously different because, again, this is a reimagined game, but it's the same 6 Pokemon he used in Kanto in the first games. Using my team now, I finish off Blue, then it's time to upgrade my team to take on Red, because I know for a fact he's got level like 70 or 80 Pokemon, and this team's just not going to do it. Encountered a shiny Graveler on Mount Silver, so of course I caught it as my encounter there, so caught it, named it Flare. Not going to use it, but I feel like you guys would be mad at me if I didn't catch a shiny, and it wasn't a dupe. So anyway, I added Glowabee and Pixel to my team, and I think I'm ready to take on Red. He's got a Venusaur, I got a Venusaur. His Venusaur killed my Venusaur, but that's not a big deal because Quackers took out his Venusaur. After that, he sends out a Snorlax, and Glowabee takes care of that. After Snorlax, he sends out Charizard, and God, that thing's a monster. No wings and blind, but that's okay. We're going to send out Quackers. Quackers takes the hit. It killed Quackers, but Nessie went out and avenged it. Then he sends out Raichu, and God, that thing was ugly, but that's okay. Pixel put that bitch on the ground. He follows up with a Blastoise, and we use Pixel to finish off the Blastoise as well. So in the end, I lost half my team again. Except I didn't. Well, I did, but it gave me an auto heal and then told me to go fight Green at the entrance to the Elite Four. So I was like, fuck it, let's just take the team and run it. At this point, if I've disappointed you, just count this as non-canon. I mean, technically Green doesn't exist in the actual games, but I just wanted to see if I could beat her. So, but I didn't want to not include it because, again, it was like the final fight of the game. And I wasn't going to train up a new team for one last fight. So again, call it what you will. She had a missing no on her team. That was pretty fucking cool. I beat her, so that's all that really matters is I won. And in the end, I lost 14 Pokemon in this entire run. But we beat the game! With or without the canon ending, that's up to you. If you watched this far, thank you very much. I appreciate your viewership. Maybe consider subscribing. If not, that's okay. Either way, we did it, guys. It's done.